The Graphic Histories Podcast.
I got bit by a radioactive bug. I tried an experimental drug. Went up for a stroll on a gamma testing range. I found an enchanted hurricane. I made a serum that made me small. I modified the serum so it would make me tall. Radioactive isotope in my eyes. A dying alien helped me accessorize. I gained the proportion and strength of a spider. Now I'm invincible and I can fly. I lost my sight, my other senses were heightened. I'm gonna put on my pajamas and go fight crime.
Hey there and welcome to the Graphic Histories Podcast. My name is Andre Mayette, your podcast host. Big thanks to Uka the Mock for our theme song, Superpowers. And big thanks to you, gentle listener, for tuning in to part 2 of my conversation with Diana Schutz. At this time, I should be hopefully back in Canada, back in my home. But obviously I wouldn't have had much time to get this together, so I'm doing it far in advance, meaning I'm not going to do another big old intro. You don't need it. You heard the one from last week, so you should be all good. So if you really enjoyed that conversation as much as I did, you're going to love this one. We get into some more stuff about Diana's wonderful career and life and inspirations, etc. And it's a really, really good chat. As always, thank you so much, Diana, for being a guest. I hope you're listening. And if you're just listening, tell someone about it. Push it in their inbox. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Is the website. Do all the good stuff. Send up a raven if you do that to a friend. But spread the word. It's much appreciated. So, in reward, thank you for listening. I'm going to give you another great conversation. That's my gift to you. And here it is, my chat, part 2 of my chat with Diana Schutz. I want to get to your Dark Horse work, but I know I've met Dave Sim once. He was doing some kind of when he's doing that Glamour Puss comic. He was doing he was doing like a tour. I think it was like his last tour or something he was calling it, and he spent some time in Halifax.
Oh, cool.
So I got a chance to meet him, which was interesting. He's an interesting cat. But I know you worked with him a little bit, and I see that when you had resigned from working with him, it kind of fell around the same time of his I don't know how to word this in a proper way.
It was the tangent. It was
yes,
the
tangent's a good word.
essay.
Tangent's a good word.
That was the name of the essay.
Oh, was it? Okay, that's even better. I forgot that.
But
I know the two are unrelated. I just feel it's interesting that like working with him, did you feel that that he had these negative feelings towards a gender?
Well,
I don't know. It's just
I knew Dave very well because in fact I actually began working for him when we were having a long distance relationship.
Oh, okay.
Which we did for
I didn't know that. Sorry, I did. That's
about a year and a half. Yeah, no,
Okay. All right.
No, I dated a famous misogynist. Actually, though I don't think of him that way.
Yeah.
And it was a long time ago. It was the early 90s. And for Dave and myself, our relationship was really built around work. At least that's how it felt to me. Dark Horse was just beginning to really grow in those years. Bob and I had been hired in 1990, and Dark Horse was a company of 10 people. And by 92, Bob and I divorced in 91. Dave and I started seeing each other in 92, seeing each other romantically in 92. And he started sending me the comic in advance. And so I did what I do, and I sent the text pages back to him proofread, with like you need to fix the spelling
Yeah.
here and the grammar there. The comics themselves, those were sacrosanct. I never touched those. And Dave was adamant about never wanting an editor to mess with his creative work. The letters column, the introduction editorial note from the president, he called it, I guess. The text page is fine. And I did that for 7 years, I think.
Wow.
And it was actually the issue before Tangent, before the Tangent essay, that led me to stop. Yeah, I mean, Dave's feelings about gender, it didn't apply to individual women. And not only that, I mean, I could be wrong. This is a long time ago, and
Sure.
I could certainly have misinterpreted a lot of what Dave was saying. We used to argue about this all the time. But I think he was really discussing the kind of social change that we've seen in the last 30 or 40 years. And this happens, through generations. There are always, I mean, I think of my parents' reactions to the social changes of the 60s and how horrified they were by that.
Yeah.
And Dave, I think, similarly has reacted to the social changes that he saw coming in the 90s. And he attributed those changes to gender, to the influence of women. But I think it was the change that he was really, that really freaked him out. Not women, and certainly not individual women. At least that's how I interpreted things. So, the essays, the diatribes, I felt Dave should be allowed to express his opinion, although more and more it seemed like he was shooting himself in the foot by doing that.
Yeah.
For me, I guess the point of no return was the boxing challenge to Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
That just seemed to me absurd. And Dave had introduced me to Jeff, and I love Jeff and his wife Ajaya. They're wonderful friends. They're great people, and this boxing challenge was just like, I don't know, the dumbest boy thing that I'd ever read, and I didn't want any part of it. And of course, the way things worked with my getting the text pages to proofread, they always came sort of at the last minute. The book was going to press, and this would be the last thing that needed to get done. So I would have to proof very quickly. The changes would get made very quickly, and off the book would go to Preeny to print it. I didn't really have time to consider my decision here. I had to make a decision. I had to either proof the stuff and go, or make a decision about it, and with no time to really think about it. And my gut reaction was, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of this boxing challenge.
I don't blame you. And did the fact that he printed your resignation letter, did you feel like that was like like kind of an FU? We do curse in the show, but I'm always sure. Okay, we do curse in the show. I'm just never sure with someone if I should in front of them or not. But
no,
okay.
I have a terrible potty mouth. It's okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, it seemed very much like a fuck you to me.
Yeah.
So, but there's something to be said about this, and I've jokingly talked about this before. There's this German director who makes these truly terrible movies, and whenever someone makes critics make fun of him or speak poorly of the films, he often challenges them to boxing matches. And
Wow.
yeah,
Huh.
Yui Boll's his name. If you look him up, you'd see the list of bad movies he makes. But he's German, and it's something to do with the German tax credits or something. He keeps getting to
Hmm.
make movies, but it's such stupidly, like, I don't want to just say like stupid masculine, but it is. It's a stupidly masculine, like I'm going to win an argument by physically beating you. Like how does that solve anything?
Right.
Like
But
if yeah, it
that's
just
that is the superhero mentality that we
oh
all
yeah,
grew up with.
I
No, I
suppose.
mean,
But it's
uh,
I guess if the villain had a opposing opinion and then physically, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess you're
mhm.
right. You're right though, because like the good guy does beat the villain physically, and then that sort of equates that he's, usurped him.
Morally upright.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I
And
don't know. It's just I feel like if it goes the other way, if Doctor Doom beats Mr. Fantastic in a fist fight, he's still a fascist.
right,
So it
right.
doesn't make fascism suddenly okay. So anyway. But but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. And yeah, I not only was it sort of insulting to Jeff,
Mm,
I thought it reflected really poorly on Dave,
mm,
which you've just pointed out. And yeah, I didn't want to have any part of it. And I felt like if I were going to start judging the content of the
mm,
work instead of simply worrying about the form, which was my job.
hmm.
Um, yeah, that if I were going, that I was not there to judge the content.
No.
And and
Well, that's not what an editor's
so
supposed to do, really.
yeah, and so I didn't feel I could continue to do the job if that was going to uh, if that would impede me
Yeah.
from doing the job that Dave wanted,
Hmm.
basically. So at that point, I mean, he was paying me, much to his credit. Most of that money I was donating to the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund.
Mm,
Um, and so I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because I like Dave. I continue to like Dave.
mm,
Um, and I, I was and am a Cerebus fan.
mm,
You know, I was one of the original 2000 readers of issue
hmm.
number one, and read all the way through to issue 300.
Hmm.
Read the Glamourpuss issues as well.
Hmm.
I think Dave is tremendously talented. Um, and yeah, it, and I suppose, like, certainly from my perspective, misguided
Mm.
uh, in his
No,
beliefs. Um, but I guess, you know, he's allowed to have his own
I
beliefs.
suppose.
I just don't have to agree with them.
Yeah, yeah,
We're all allowed to have our own beliefs,
yeah.
but yeah.
I always said that about kind of our modern world. I feel like a lot of people get really upset about a lot of things that don't have much to do with them, and you know what I mean. Like it's like if
Mhm.
somebody's over here saying this, you can take it to almost any issue, but whatever is the big shock headline thing that they're grabbing onto. If it has nothing to do with you, your family, anything that's connected to you, let those who it does affect figure it out.
Mhm.
You don't need to have an
Mhm.
opinion about it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, his is kind of. I mean, when I interacted with him, had this little indie comic I was making that I gave him, and he sent me a nice fact, I think, about it, which
Hmm.
was sweet. And he was I did a portfolio review, which he was doing, which was also very nice. And yeah, I had a great interaction with him. I didn't really know about a lot of that stuff at the time until I came on later years. But,
Hmm.
you know, everyone's got their
Yeah,
own their own garbage, I guess. This is just some people's
when
are on public display. So,
when we were dating, we often, whenever Dave did store signings
Hmm.
or whatever, that yeah, I would fly to join him wherever
Oh,
that
nice.
was. And I saw him in action a lot, uh, it, doing portfolio reviews, encouraging young artists.
Hmm.
He was great. I had a lot of respect for him. And he told me once, it like I, I must have asked him about signings and what happens if there aren't very many people. And the way he explained it to me was, if you have a 1 hour signing and 60 people, every person gets 1 minute. If you have a 1 hour signing and one person shows up, that person gets the whole hour. And and whereas I have seen creators walk away from
Mm.
signings if
No,
there are
yeah,
not
that
enough
sucks.
people, and that does suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because the people that are going there, like to them, that means the world. So, like,
yeah.
why just be like, I know you may not feel like it's worth your time if there's only 30 of them or something, but those 30
It
people are passionate about it and want to
yeah,
meet you and want to celebrate the work, and you shouldn't rob them of
absolutely.
that.
Yep.
So, anyway, here's one
Oh,
of my,
I
yeah,
see someone in the background.
that's Frodo.
Oh, hi, Frodo.
He's one of those wobbly cats. He has that cerebellar hypoplasia. So when
Oh,
he walks, he looks a little drunk. His motor functions are a little. He's totally fine. There's nothing, no pain or anything. He just has a little
good.
coordination issue. But
Yeah.
there's another cat sleeping under my desk, so I think he's investigating
Oh,
it. No, that's awesome. Well, working with Dark Horse, obviously you worked with quite a slew of amazing creators. I told the story in the show before, but one of my greatest interactions with the comic creators were with Stan Sakai and Sergio at a convention in Montreal. I gave them that same comic, and they had
oh, I
they.
was there.
Oh,
Wait,
were
I
you?
was what? Well, what year was that?
It was Montreal Comic Expo.
Yes,
It would have been no, it would have been
early 2000s.
maybe late.
Sergio was making balloon
Two,
animals.
uh,
I have pictures of Sergio
I want to
making
say it's
balloon
like
animals.
2008, nine, somewhere around there, maybe.
Could
Um,
be.
yeah, because
I
trying to think of other people that were there. Um,
unless Stan and Sergio have
Stan was
done
there.
another, yeah, and
Yeah.
unless they have done another convention together in Montreal,
No, was
um,
Stan Lee there? He was there at this one.
I don't remember,
Okay, I guess he
but
was like the big thing.
the big draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was at a show in Montreal in the 2000s,
Hmm.
with Stan and Sergio.
Oh, well, maybe
So
maybe I saw you there when I was there. I just had my comic. Yeah.
maybe, yep, yep.
It was very they were very sweet. Like I brought them the comic on one day and then they said come back tomorrow and we'll like and I did and they both read it the night before and gave me
Wow.
a ton of great feedback and it was very sweet. They didn't have to do that. So
They
it's
are two of the nicest people in comics.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great Sergio and I have been friends uh, y- dating back to his appearance at Comics and Comics,
Mm.
which I think was in '83. Um, so a long time. And then well, Stan came to Dark Horse. Stan approached me about bringing Usagi to Dark Horse.
Really? Wow.
Uh, I was editor-in-chief at the time,
Hmm.
and Stan and I had worked together very briefly when I was at Kamiko. We published Steve Moncuse's Fish Police
Oh
comic,
yes, yeah, I remember that.
and and uh, and Steve had um, initiated these backup stories called Fish Sticks, which gave him the opportunity to work with a variety of different artists.
Mm.
And Stan was one of those artists. So
Wow.
that would have been the first time that I worked with Stan. And based on that, he would wind up bringing Usagi to
Oh,
Dark Horse.
wow, that's awesome.
And I could not be his editor at first because I was editor-in-chief and they wouldn't let me
Hmm.
edit comics. Instead, I was in meetings all the time. Anyway,
Ah,
I didn't last long at that job either. I took a pay cut and stepped back down into
to be an editor.
being an editor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
Um, and so then I became Stan's editor and edited Usagi for 17 years.
Wow.
And Stan was a gem to work with, really.
He's such a
Yeah.
yeah, such a sweet guy. Did you work
Yeah.
close with Sam Keith as well? I know he just passed away.
I did work with Sam.
Mm.
In fact, I was just asked to write a tribute.
Oh,
Um,
that's sweet.
uh, yeah, well, I was asked, any number of people were asked.
Mm.
Andrew Farago, who runs the Comic Art Museum
Mm.
in San Francisco, is writing the official obituary for the Comics Journal.
Mm.
And he approached a number of people who worked with Sam asking for comments and stories.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was Sam's first editor.
Oh, wow,
He
really?
was, yeah,
What a
he
book to
was,
edit on. Like,
well,
like
but no, it was, I
oh, it
didn't
wasn't
edit
for
the
that? Okay.
Max. It
Okay.
wasn't the Max.
No?
No. I was Sam's editor in 1985 and 86. He was inking Mage,
Right.
inking Matt Wagner on Mage,
Oh,
and
okay.
he was 22 years old. I was 30. That was a big difference
Yeah.
in at that age, you know, it was a big difference. But yeah, Sam was just a kid, really. Um, the funny story about Sam is that a couple years after that, he he called me and wanting to know what did I know about this Gaiman guy? Because DC had offered him a job doing the art on a comic that was going to be written by this Gaiman guy.
Hmm.
Uh, and I had met Neil the year before and read his work and knew what a talent he was and told Sam to go for it, but he still only lasted 5 issues of Sandman. But
Uh,
but made good money and continued to make royalties from those 5 issues for years to come.
right. Yeah. I guess those books are
Yeah.
probably never going to go to circulation. They've been in
Mm-hmm.
forever.
Yeah.
So, uh, wow. And I mean, like Chadwick on
On
concrete.
concrete.
Yeah, like just so
Yeah.
like it's just a who's who of amazing. It's like a Zelig. I think I called Bob that when I talked to him. He's like the Zelig of Forrest Gump for more modern, I guess, type of audience, but the Zelig of comics. Like you just seem to kind of rub shoulders with all these different, luminaries and of course Mike Mignola, you work with Hellboy, of course, being
I no, I did
you
not.
didn't work with him?
I was not the Hellboy editor. I
Okay.
worked with Mike only once and on a short story for which he won the Eisner that year for best short
Well,
story.
that's pretty good. I mean, that's I said it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that did work out pretty well. But I met Mike and Art Adams, when I was in Berkeley working at Comics and Comics. They were eh, 19 and 21 at the time, I
Hmm.
think, unpublished. And they used to it, they used to come into the store and shop and show me their sketchbook and the work that they were doing. And so Mike and Arthur and I all kind of broke into the industry at about the same time.
Oh, wow. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, through this long career of working on all these amazing comics for Dark Horse, and when did you step away from it? When did you decide it was time to go on the freelancing side
Yeah.
of things?
Well, that was 2015.
Uh-huh.
So 11 years ago, I had turned 60.
Mm,
I'd lost my father in 2013. Uh, so the last surviving parent.
mm,
Um, and and I had lost just a, a month or so before my father, or after, I can't remember now. We lost Kim Thompson,
mm,
um, co-publisher of Fantagraphics,
mhm.
Gary's former business partner. Um, Kim had been working with me as translator of the Manara. Dark Horse had gotten a license to publish the Italian cartoonist Milo Manara's work, 2,500 pages of
Oof.
his comics. So
Wow.
we did like 10 hardcover volumes, and all the comics were originally written in Italian. And they'd been translated into English before, but they had been translated from French translations of Milo's original Italian, which is, that's like broken
Yeah.
telephone. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you don't. Anyway, so we were working directly from Milo's original Italian scripts, and I needed someone who could translate that, and I asked him to get a recommendation from him, and he volunteered himself. He was a polyglot,
Mm,
and spoke any number of languages. And so he and I had worked together and really closely uh, I mean, I'd known Kim for a long time, obviously, but um, when you work with someone like that, it's a different relationship,
mm.
uh, and we got really close, and then just towards the end, he got sick, and he passed very quickly.
Mm.
Yeah, it was like 5 months from diagnosis to gone. I mean,
Jesus.
yeah, it was really fast
Oof.
and really tragic, so young. Um, and it just, and then losing my father right around the same time really brought home to me that, hey, what am I doing here? I'm sort of increasingly less happy uh, at Dark Horse. The editorial department was being run by someone uh, who was kind of a power freak, and
Mm,
he 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 was not making it a very comfortable place for women in
mm,
general, and so I just began asking myself the kinds of questions that you do as you age and as mortality sort of hits you in the face. And I realized that there were other things that I wanted to do,
mm.
still connected with comics, but I'd begun teaching in 2002. That was because Will Eisner told me to get out there and teach comics.
Oh, awesome. I mean, that's an
And
endorsement. Come on. I mean, you got to do it. Will
yeah,
Eisner told us. Yeah.
Will Eisner tells you, yeah, you go do it.
You go do
So
it. Yeah.
I had been teaching, but I'd been teaching just sort of one comics course a year at night, and decided that I wanted to ramp that up. Dr. Susan Kirtley had just created a program at Portland State University, a comic studies program. So she hired me to teach comics history, and so yeah, I wanted to ramp up my teaching, and then uh, my partner Brandon and I were offered a translation job, uh, a book called New York, written and drawn by Olivier Vatine, an old friend, and um, and so we were offered the translation job, and so there were just more creative
Yeah.
things that I wanted to be doing, and in 2013, I gave my notice for 2015,
Hmm.
saying, I'm going to need about 18 months to wrap up the various projects that I have on my desk right now. And and yeah, so in 2015, I quote unquote retired, and I was supposed to have retired from editing, but it didn't quite work out that way. Um,
Retirement never does. If you're
yeah,
passionate about the work, you never really want to stop,
yeah,
even if retirement. So
yeah.
yeah.
I certainly didn't want to burn my bridges, and I I knew that I would want to freelance for Dark Horse in some capacity, and but I had grown after 30 some years. I had grown tired. Well, that's not entirely true. I was going to say I'd grown tired of editing, but it's more like, I wanted to try some other things.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, new adventure.
and yeah, if I were editing comics, that's sort of all consuming,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't be able to do that and do all the various other kinds of comics things that I wanted to do. So so I left Dark Horse in 2015, and as I say, pretty quickly, uh, in 2016, I was teaching and I was translating, and I'm not teaching anymore, but still very actively involved with the comic studies program at Portland State.
Well, awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and and in fact, there's we set up an internship program at Dark Horse, so our students get course credit. They spend a term at Dark Horse learning
Wow.
and kind of the
That's an
basics of
incredible term.
editorial.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
and they get course credit for that, and it's also provided kind of a ready job pool for editor-in-chief Dave Marshall, my former assistant, Dave,
Hmm.
who's now EIC, and when they get budgeted for new staff or someone leaves and they have to hire a replacement, he's got all these interns who he's been able to see them on the job already, and they already know a little about the job. So the upshot of that is that really many of the uh, editors on staff now at Dark Horse are either my former assistants or my former students.
Awesome.
Um,
That's a
yeah,
hell of a
so
legacy.
that's really very cool. That makes me very happy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hell of a legacy. I got a few more questions for you. I don't want to keep you all day. I know you worked well with Harvey P. You worked with Harvey Picar on American
I
Flender
did.
books.
Hmm.
What was he like? He's someone that looms large in my because like I'm a big movie guy and I'm a big comic guy and then a lot of other guys types of guys. But the I think the American Splendor movie is one of the best movies about
I
comics, and
I agree.
I think the Crumb movie is an excellent movie about documentary, and all that sort of stuff too. But Picard himself and his comics and what he I guess the slice of life, just telling stories about day-to-day life comics that he sort of pioneered in a way. And in that movie and interviews with him obviously make him out to be kind of a prickly character, but I was curious what the day-to-day reactions with like the actions with him would be like. interactions?
Yeah, Harvey was kind of a puppy.
Hmm.
He could be prickly,
Hmm.
he could definitely be a curmudgeon.
I think he
Uh,
built a brand around that kind of, so
yes,
yeah.
but and I see a new one. Who's on the
Oh,
side
this
there?
this one's Lebowski.
Lebowski.
Yeah, he's
Dude.
yeah, that's what we call him. He's orange and white. He was the one that was sleeping under my
I
desk earlier. Yeah, look here.
I saw him walk through the door.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he's just right
yeah.
here. He's a come on, take that. Take that. Oh, he's big. Oh, there you go.
Oh, he is a big boy.
He's a little bitey because I
Wow.
picked him up.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's four of them.
handsome
There's
guy.
four of them running around, but those are the two.
Wow.
Those are the two that are mostly the most active. Come here, you
Yeah.
crazy jerk. There you go.
Four is a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't have any kids, so they're our kids,
yeah.
I guess. But
Well, we
that
have two, and
mhm.
that's two. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're
have
not.
had I've had three in the past, and I found that to be a lot. So, four is, yeah.
There's a they keep I keep coming across. I can't like I'm when it comes to animals.
It's hard to say no to them, right?
I'm
When
very big
they,
hearted when it
yeah,
comes to animals. So
yeah.
like a lot of them are usually rescues that were like
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the road or living under a shed or something. And then
Yeah.
the last two were well, I do work as a professional wrestler, which I may have talked about when I was with Bob. I'm not sure, but so
I saw that
oh
on your
yeah, yeah.
site, I
So
think so.
sometimes through some of the wrestling I do, I give money to SPCM. I'm very animal minded. So often I'll go there to bring checks or something, and then there'll be some sad looking kitten in a cage just waiting for a home, and I can't say no.
Yeah,
So those are
good
where
for
the last
you.
two came from. But
Yeah.
my wife is very same minded, so she'll usually nobody's saying maybe we shouldn't. Everyone's like, oh, we need to. So
Yeah.
then we get
Good.
them.
Good for you. Well, yeah, our two are rescues as
Hmm.
well. So, um,
Well, that's cool. So Harvey was, but like you
yeah,
could get through.
Harvey, yeah, here's what happened with Harvey. He
Mhm.
had been self-publishing
Yeah.
for 16 years, and it, then it,
So you're like his first
he
editor, like the first person he had to like actually deal with.
kind
Really?
of,
Okay,
kind
interesting.
of. He had, he had cancer, which he
Hmm.
detailed
Or
in the
cancer,
graphic
yeah.
novel art. Yeah, and so he couldn't self-publish anymore because he couldn't handle the distribution, the
Mm.
boxes and boxes of comics that would come from the printer and shipping those out, and
Mm.
that end of things, he just couldn't do it anymore, so physically. And so what happened was, he either Tundra, Kevin Eastman's comics
Yep.
company, which was still alive then, either Tundra contacted him or he contacted Tundra. Um, and one issue came out through them, and Harvey was not happy with the working relationship he had with Tundra. So he called me at Dark Horse. He and I had met previously. He knew I was a huge fan of his.
Mm.
Um, and so he called me and said, would you like to be my editor? Well, of course, the answer is
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, of
right?
course.
Um, but Dark Horse was, we like the reason Dark Horse has been around for 40 years is that they budgeted their comics. And so, I mean, American Splendor never sold in huge numbers, but I was worried that when it came time to budgeting the comic, that the accounting department was going to raise their hand and say,
Mm.
maybe not. Um, but at the time, Dark Horse was still owned by Mike Richardson, one guy, and you could go into that one guy and say, "Hey, we should do this," and he could make the decision on the spot.
Mm.
And he basically said, fuck the accounting department. American Splendor is a great book. It's expanding the medium. Yes, we should publish it. So I became Harvey's editor for 11 years. And the ironic thing is that uh, I had I had become friendly with an artist named Dean Haspiel,
Oh, yes.
who's in the Brooklyn area, New
Oh,
York
I'm
area.
very
Anyway,
familiar. Yep.
all right. So and Dean kept wanting. Dean was a huge Harvey fan,
Mhm.
and and a friend of his was drawing some of the strips for Harvey, whose name I'm blanking on right now, senior moment. But anyway, Dean really, really wanted to be able to draw an American Splendor story,
Hmm.
but his work is very stylized, and that didn't fly with Harvey. Harvey really wanted more realistic
Mm.
artists. Um, but I kept pushing Dean on Harvey. I wanted him to expand his artist base. I wanted him to work with people like Eddie Campbell, for instance, who I thought would be perfect for American Splendor. Uh, and anyway, I kept pushing Dean and kept pushing Dean, and finally, Harvey relented. Okay, Dean Haspiel can draw an American Splendor story. And through that relationship, Harvey and Dean, Dean went to, I'm going to forget their names, but the people who wrote and produced and directed American Splendor. Dean was working for them, day
Oh,
job.
really? Wow. Okay.
And he went to them and said, you need to read this comic. It's great. And you should think about making a movie. And they did, and they did, and they did.
Wow.
So, so the movie was made because Dean Haspiel came on board, which Harvey had resisted for too long.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's amazing
Um,
because I love that movie.
and then uh, and then because of the movie, Harvey's uh, late wife, Joyce, decided that Harvey could make more money elsewhere. So she pulled the book from Dark Horse and off they went to
Really?
DC
Oh,
Vertigo.
no. Oh, geez. I didn't know that. Wow.
So it's too
Oh.
bad. Harvey's dead,
Hmm.
Joyce is dead, and and who knows where the rights lie. But I mean, there's a reason that you're not seeing, all that stuff, all those American Splendors that Dark Horse published. I had a plan to collect all of those into, you know,
Yeah.
anthology
That would have been
books.
good. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been great. And but Joyce said no. She was pulling the title and taking it to DC. And then similarly, DC released a lot of great books of Harvey's. Now, all this stuff is in limbo because Harvey's dead, Joyce is dead, the rights are in limbo.
Yeah, they don't have any kids, do they?
They had an adopted child,
Right. Yes.
Danielle,
Right. That's
and
right.
I don't know where Danielle is.
Hmm.
I no way of reaching her. I have no idea if she was designated in the wills. I
Hmm.
have no idea if there were any estate documents.
Wow.
So it's really sad because that prevents the work from being out there.
Yeah, no, that's something
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised. I ordered it. I did buy the when Sam Keith's when they reprinted all of the Max and the single issues, I got them. But
Mhm.
I did recently purchase. It's not out yet, but the big collection of all of his stuff, all of the Max stuff.
Oh, nice.
So I would.
It is. Image is doing that?
I believe so.
Hmm.
It has the entire series in one expanded collection. So
Oh,
with I think like updated everything. So it looks
oh,
really
that's
cool.
great.
But I would
Yeah.
love to see an American Splendor one. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sure would be.
yeah,
Because, I mean, from 1976 till 2000,
mm,
that's a lot of issues, a lot of American Splendor stories. And yeah, everything is hung up because nobody knows
wow.
who owns the rights. So,
I'm a big fan of like I collect physical media like Blu-rays and stuff, and
hmm.
I love Criterion, and I've always thought American Splendor should be a Criterion release. I don't know who
Mm,
I don't know what impassioned person I have to send a letter to get that to happen. I
yeah.
think it was an HBO movie, or HBO Films owned it, so maybe that's why.
Yes,
But
that's right. That's right.
so
Why are they like
no, I don't think so.
Criterion and HBO
I
or
don't think
no?
so, but HBO usually
Hmm.
just kind of has everything on HBO, right? So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
but maybe someday it'll happen because I love that movie.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
so the other question was I mean, Mike Richardson kind of famously just was dismissed from Dark Horse, and
Yeah.
he'd been there forever, and shepherded and had a lot to say and a lot to do with a lot of really cool projects and creators getting to tell their stories. Um, I guess like has there been much talk? Is the industry kind of like reeling from this? Is it something that was a shock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A huge shock though. I mean, look, Mike sold the company.
Mm,
That to me was the first real shock. I never thought I would see the day that
right.
Mike would sell his baby like
Mm,
that. He founded the company and he was the driving force, the vision behind Dark Horse for 40 years. But in 2018, for reasons that I still can't figure, and uh, next time he and I have lunch, I'm going to
yeah, I
ask
imagine
him.
it'll be an interesting conversation.
Um, he sold the company in 2018 to a Chinese firm,
Hmm.
and I don't know what happened there. Some Chinese corporation. And uh, anyway, I don't know what happened. What I do know is that in 2021 or 22, he was able to sell Dark Horse again, and this time to Embracer,
Mm,
the Swedish gaming corporation. And here's the thing, when you sell a company that's owned by a family-owned company, when you sell that to a corporation, it- generally part of the terms of the sale are that you will no longer run the company. That's
hmm.
why they're buying it, so that they can run it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the fact that Mike was asked to leave should not really come as a shock to to the comics world, but it does because they don't understand that this is what happens when you sell your company to a corporation.
Yeah, you
They
have
want
to know that
they
that will.
want you to go.
Yeah, they want the company
Yeah,
for themselves, and usually they write in a contract that you can stay for so long for transition. But once you hit the end of
exactly
that,
right.
you're gone. So,
That's
like, you have
correct.
to assume he knew that that would be the end game. Like, he must
Yes,
have
he
been
did.
I mean,
He
he's an
did.
older gentleman, retirement's probably whatever. But the idea that, like, it's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, look, when he signed that contract, he was younger and I and
well, fair
maybe
enough, yeah.
maybe he thought that okay, by then he
Be
would be
ready.
ready to retire, but I don't think Mike will ever retire. Again, as you said earlier, when you have this kind of passion for comics, you don't want to sit at home and put your feet up and do nothing.
No.
He- and Mike he is a tremendous visionary. He really he always has ideas for something new. And so, um, but but I think the way Embracer handled all of this
Hmm.
was not really, I mean, they are not looking like the good guys
No,
here at
no,
all.
nope.
So, yeah. Um,
Well, the comic industry to me seems like one where good faith goes a long way with comic fans. So,
mhm.
because they're the ones really that are it's hard it's hard to describe, but there's a community within comics, and maybe it's an outsider mentality. I feel like that's going away a little bit, but the idea that, like, if you're into comics, you're kind of in a very subgroup of people. I feel like that group is a lot larger nowadays.
It
But
sure is.
but at one point it felt like a little more of a this is our thing group, right? So
Our tribe.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So and I feel like that persists because comics have become so much more with all these billion-dollar movies and blah blah blahs. But I think the people that still appreciate the comics, that's still the community, and they're still out there. So I feel like when you do something like this that sort of alienates that group, I feel like you'll feel it both in just public outcry, but also financially, because sometimes you'll stop buying the books, and that's when you start feeling that, you know.
Do
But
you think, will they stop buying the books? I wonder about that.
I don't know. It
You
makes you
know,
wonder. Yeah, it makes you wonder. I mean, Dark Horse is kind of unique in that they have the proverbial finger in a lot of pies, right? Like there's a lot
hmm
of movies
hmm
and stuff that get made based on their projects, and they
lots
create
of
their own.
lots of licenses and
Yeah,
lots of creator-owned books.
hmm
I mean, that's how it is in the book world,
yeah,
where a book publisher publishes all manner of different
yep,
books. You wouldn't have a book publisher that would just do like murder mysteries and
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Whereas in comics, that is kind of our publishers are all sort of these niche
hmm
publishers. Marvel just superheroes, DC mostly just
hmm
superheroes, and and Fantagraphics just art comics, So
I love
yeah,
Fantagraphic.
me too. But
I just bought
Dark Horse is across the board in
mm.
terms of
Yeah,
its
agreed. Yeah,
publication. Yeah.
and
So
varied and unique stuff, right? So
yeah, and so, will people stop buying Hellboy because they don't want to support the new Dark Horse? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't see
well.
that kind of.
You're right in that, like, because since it's wrapped up with creator-owned projects, that you still want to support the
Hmm
creators, so you're not going to want to
hmm
cut them out because the people running
Yeah.
oh, paying to open the doors are,
And I mean, I think they're also, the to my knowledge, the staff remains.
mhm.
So it's still the same group of people
No, that's
working
good.
there.
That's
Um,
good to hear.
yeah.
All right, two things, and then I'll let you go. How did the Blacksad project come about? Because I'm a big fan of that, and just thought that's really cool that you're involved with that.
Yeah, at Dark Horse, because I grew up reading European
Hmm
comics as well as my DC superheroes, I have continued through my whole life to every time I flew back to Montreal to visit my parents, for instance, I would go to Marché du Livre and I would buy a bunch of French graphic novels. And so continued to read my whole life, European work. And and so in the early aughts, a company that's no longer around called iBooks published 2 volumes of a book called Blacksad, and in English, and I bought those, and they were fantastic, and really loved them. And then the owner of iBooks, the publisher, died in a traffic accident, something
Oh,
awful.
okay.
Um,
Jeez.
and so iBooks no longer existed, and Blacksad was up for grabs, and it came to Dark Horse. Um, and Dark Horse didn't really want it.
Oh,
Which
really?
here's the thing.
Wow, because that's
You
gone pretty
know,
far since. Like, it's a very popular book. And they
I
had a
have
video game too. Like, obviously, what? Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a it is the most popular uh, yeah, international book in the
Wow.
US. So yeah, the best-selling international book in the US in translation. And
Wow.
so, but I could never, it was always really, really hard for me to convince Dark Horse to publish European comics. Getting Manara in there, the 2,500 pages, the Manara library that we did, that was a major thing. Um, and but it was always a fight, always a fight. And so Blacksad was equally a fight, and it was turned down at first. And so we went back to, we being myself and associate editor Katie Moody,
Mhm.
we we just kept trying to make the the budget work,
Mhm.
whatever we could do to make that budget work, to convince marketing that we could sell enough copies of this book to make it, a doable, it, so that it would not lose money.
Mhm.
Um, and so we came up with that plan to do the three stories, the three first volumes as one, uh, one lower priced book, a 100-page book for not, like, not, I don't know, it was $25 or something at the
Mhm.
time, or $20 at the time. And and that was the plan that worked, that they finally approved. Um, and so off we went. Katie, Katie was the editor, because she had been the person to be approached with the property. They found her in San Diego when I was flitting off somewhere. Um, but then Katie left our course, and I I lobbied for the book to 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 be on, in my
Mhm.
slate of books, because I had been such a fan of the title for so long, and I had already been in touch with the artist Juanjo Guarnido.
Oh, he's so
Uh,
good. So good.
he is, yeah, he's great, and he and I had become friends via email.
Nice.
We shared a mutual friend at the time, Tim Sale, a very good friend of both of ours.
Mhm.
And so, so yeah, so the book came to me, and really right away in the very first volume that I edited in English, was called A Silent Hell, and there were two short stories, short, like two-page stories in the back of that book. And they were a last minute decision to put in the book, and I needed them translated right away. And the writer, Juan Díaz Canales, said, "Well, why don't you do it?" At that point, I mean, the book is published by Dargaud, so
Mhm.
the French edition is like the first edition to be published, but it's written in Spanish. And at that point, I had spent several years studying Spanish at night. So I had both the French and the Spanish. And and I translated those two short stories and found that I really loved the work.
Oh, awesome.
Um, yeah, so when I left our course, uh, I I said to Juan and Juanjo that I would like to become the book's translator, and and they took
Oh,
me on.
that's
Yeah,
beautiful. That's awesome.
yeah.
They're great books. You do amazing work on it. Um,
Um, but I'm also like, as I say, I work with my partner Brandon
Mhm.
on those and on others. Um, and Brandon doesn't have Spanish, but he has French.
Mhm.
So he'll work from the French edition and provide a first draft translation. And then I work from the Spanish, from the original
Oh, okay,
Spanish
cool.
script, and make sure that our final script is in accord with the original Spanish, and I write the final draft. Um, so yeah, and we've been working together like that for 10 years now, and
Wow,
it's worked out really well. Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Uh,
it's
la
fun.
Last thing before I let you go, I've taken far too much of your time already. Is this is the big announcement that you just had on had made that you're getting an honorary doctorate from the University of British
Yeah,
Columbia. It's very
isn't
exciting.
that isn't
Yeah.
that wild? Um,
So should I call you
it,
Dr. Diana Schutz now? Or?
my dad was Dr. Schutz,
Uh-huh.
and this would have delighted him to no end.
Hmm.
But there are a few people. Brian Bendis received an honorary doctorate from his alma mater.
Hmm.
Um, Paul Levitz,
Hmm.
former publisher of DC.
I've had him on the show.
Uh, Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Also received an honorary doctorate. You, because you are a film fan, uh, will know the name Michael Uslan,
Hmm.
and Michael is probably the first of us to have received an honorary doctorate in 2012 from Monmouth University. Michael, of course, being the Batman
Hmm.
uh,
Oh yeah.
producer.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
he has
So,
a hand in all of
yeah.
those. Wow.
So yeah, there are a few of us, a few more in Europe. I'm given to understand, and it really is an incredible honor. It was my friend, Dr. Kirtley, the head of comic studies at Portland State University, who approached me last fall and said that she wanted to nominate me for an honorary doctorate, and she handled all of it. I mean, I had really very I had to write my bio for her. That was it. She contacted 5 people, including Pulitzer winner Michael Chabon, to write letters of recommendation for me, and put together, I don't even know what the university requires for
Hmm.
their nomination process. And I was flabbergasted when I learned that they were going to confer this degree. It's a Doctor of Letters.
Hmm.
Um, the PhD is reserved for people who really go through write the
Yes.
dissertation and do the whole number.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, you know, I think it's 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 a tremendous honor for me. But I think it really speaks to comics
Hmm.
and to the kind of uh, legitimization that we are receiving now as both an art form and an industry. And that to me is like the real worth of this honorary degree, um, is what it says about comics in general.
Yeah. And their value
Yeah.
and their worth.
Yeah.
That's yeah, 100% agree. Well, thank you so much, Diana. This was a real pleasure and a real honor to get the chance to talk to you. So,
Andre, thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this, and it was really kind of you to invite me.
oh
So,
no, the pleasure is all mine, but thank you. And I'll let you get on with your day now that it's starting.
all right. Yeah, I am just about to wrap up my translation on this,
Oh
and
wow.
Brazilian a Brazilian comic called In Search of Lost Tintin. So written in Portuguese.
Wow.
And although that's the French version, the French edition that I have there. But
I look forward to reading it.
yep, deadline's tomorrow.
Oh,
So-
okay. I look forward to reading it soon. Well, thank you so much, Diana. Have a great day.
All right, you too, Andre. Thanks very much.
There you have it, my conversation with Diana Schutz. Man, we got into some cool places, learned some really cool things. And wow, what a creator, what a person, what an individual. I can't thank Diana enough for being on the show. And I can't thank you enough for tuning in. So, you might as well do it again. You've been doing it already. You may as well listen again next week or maybe in a week after. We'll see where our guest situation lies. We will have another guest and another conversation. Stay tuned to the social medias or your own feeds to see when that comes out. But it's coming. It's coming. So in the meantime, stay safe, have fun, read some comics. And you know what? Take a vacation if you have the means. And if you don't, find a way to take a vacation. You certainly deserve it. This program is a proud part of the Swear to Pod Network.